We have just come out of the screening for Priscilla. It is based on a teenage Priscilla who meets a meteoric Elvis on the rise, and it's pretty much their life together, except there's a little bit of a spin. It is set in the eyes of Priscilla rather than Elvis. It's directed by Sofia Coppola, and it stars Cailee Spaeny as Priscilla and Jacob Elordi as Elvis. So, James, what are your thoughts on this film?
Welcome to the Elvis verse. Elvis 2, Elvis spin-off. So we're going to get a nice little crossover.
What's the crossover?
Elvis and Priscilla, they team up, take on a
The
concert.
Beatles.
The Beatles, yeah. It'll be like, never mind, that was a major tangent. That is not my thoughts on the movie. It has no relation to the Elvis movie. But yeah, my overall thoughts was, I liked it. I didn't love it, and I know why I didn't love it, and it is because the movie, as it goes along, the more and more I started to get quite bored with it. It just kind of, it just felt like it was just a bunch of scenes stitched together. It started to like lose the progression of Priscilla Presley. I thought the first half now it's good. It's going through like the really early stages of her meeting Elvis and growing up and stuff like that. But throughout the later part of the movie, I felt like a lot of the attention, or too much of the attention, was on Elvis. And then it kind of just was a 50-50 Elvis and Priscilla movie rather than focus on Priscilla. So I thought we lost a bit of sight on the character there. And when it comes to like kind of like her liberation at the end of the film, it's not really like, you don't really feel that.
It's not earned.
Yeah, it's not really earned. And the final scene, you kind of feel nothing for. I kind of just was just like, oh, okay. Like, I guess that happened. And so perhaps I think maybe this movie was a little bit too short, an hour 50, or something around that figure. It needed a little bit more time to flesh out Priscilla Presley and try to, or at least get the audience to understand her wants and her desires. Priscilla doesn't really have much moments where she's trying to vocalize what she wants in life, what kind of achievements she wants in a career, in a marriage, with her kids and stuff. We kind of get the subtleties of it throughout, but it's not really like explored enough to get kind of any emotional reaction from the audience when that final scene kind of comes along. But the movie's headlined by Cailee Spaeny and Jacob Elordi, and I thought they both did a really, really good job. I had heard Cailee Spaeny's name being tossed around in the Best Actress conversation. I'm not there, but I did really like her performance. I just think that category is just way too stacked. But Cailee Spaeny did a really good performance. I don't believe I've seen anything of hers. I could be wrong. But yeah, she was really great in this. She had a few scenes, but again, I think she would have been a lot better if the film allowed her to be better. She's kind of just like the really submissive, quiet, shy, side person to Elvis a lot of the time. Jacob Elordi as Elvis is the one that's he's kind of the one having the control and having the kind of flamboyancy and energy with him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and on that front, Jacob Elordi, like, he really surprised me here because, he's definitely an actor that's on the rise, and he started with those shitty Netflix kissing booth movies. Go watch them, by the way, right there.
Was it him or was it David Cornsweet?
No, that's him.
Oh.
He played that, yeah. Go watch that. It's fun to laugh at.
I don't want to watch those.
No, yeah, you got to watch it. But yeah, he's definitely on the rise, and I know he's quite passionate about getting into these kind of films. He doesn't want to be in superhero films, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I've never been impressed with any of his performances, and I can safely say this is the first time where I was actually kind of pleasantly impressed by him. I think he's right on par with Cailee Spaeny, and I think they're a really good mix. They have a lot of genuine chemistry. That's something I really picked up on, and I was like, I really buy into this kind of relationship between them. It's just sad that the script doesn't actually help either of their cases or their performances in a way, to be honest. But Yeah, J.K. Elordi, I think he did a good job. Cailee Spaeny as well, really good. When it comes to the technical side, I think it's a really it's a really aesthetic kind of film. It plays super well into the era and the time period. It uses or has good sound selection for that time. It represents it. It's a mix between Elvis and his competition, so to speak, or just other songs around from that era. I think it really works perfectly to what's kind of playing out on scene, and just kind of adds to the tone and the feel of the film. The production design is the exact same thing. There is actually some really nice sets in there where it's just like it goes beyond just the kind of authentic 1960s. I don't know if it's 1960s or 70s kind of sets, but it goes beyond that, where it's kind of like everything's like falling or like works together, like really color coordinated, really well done. It's kind of almost reminiscent of a Wes Anderson kind of set at times, just like shades of pink or something like that. So really good over there. Oh, another thing to note is there's no sense of time in this film. This is something I really got annoyed with during the movie. It's just like, I don't know how long it's been. I don't know what age everyone is now. Is she still 14? I don't know.
Yeah, she was 14.
She's 14. Yeah, no. Elvis does meet her when she's 14 and he's 24. Just know that before you go into the movie, because I didn't know that, and it made me really uncomfortable with the idea and how that really played out. Also, she's 5'1" and he's 6'5", so you kind of got the tallest guy in Hollywood and the shortest girl in Hollywood. It's a really fun or very unique mix.
And I am taller than one of them.
Huh?
I said I'm taller than one of them.
Yes, and me too. But yeah, I'll use that as a segue into my next point here is makeup and hairstyling. Amazing. Really, really should be nominated. It's probably one of my favorites of the year when it comes to this category, because she looked 14. She looked really young.
She did.
And they did that. And by the end of it, she looks like a grown woman, kind of getting to that middle-aged portion of her life. I think they did such an amazing job to make her look like that. And the makeup of Priscilla, it progresses as she gets deeper and deeper into this relationship, just kind of slowly becoming more of a image or figure that Elvis desires or wants. And I just think it plays so brilliantly. It's kind of one of the few examples where everyone looks at best makeup and hairstyling and they go like, oh, Colin Farrell, Penguin, or they go what's another quick example? Bradley Cooper and Maestro, and they're like, and those are really good, but this is one of the few times when makeup and hairstyling actually is a part of character development. And I'm like, and that's when makeup and hairstyling is part of the character, that's when it's probably being used one of the best times at all. At all times during a film or any type of filmmaking. So definitely deserves credits there. The cinematography is really good. It never really allows Elvis to be the center of attention. He is he's one of the most famous icons in the history of the world. And you're kind of seeing it through the eyes of Priscilla. And I think the camera does a really good job of just having Priscilla be in the focus frame and having Elvis revolve around that. And I think that's it's a hard thing to do, but I think they did a really good job, and it allows us to kind of get absorbed into Priscilla and not Elvis, because it's easy to be invested into the Elvis character just because of that allure and then that charm and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of my thoughts there.
Yeah, pretty much on par there. Mm-hmm. I'm with you in regards to how I was like in it for half the movie and then out. Mm-hmm. You did mention that you wish it was a bit longer. I don't. I was getting thoroughly bored near the end of it.
I mean that in a sense of if it had a good structure and it just kind of allowed us to get deeper into the characters.
Yeah, I was somewhat waiting for it to end just because like I did like the movie and I do recognize it as a good movie, but it was very hard to engage in that like last act and a half, really.
Yeah.
I was just struggling. I was like, oh my God, okay, let's go. And then there was times where I thought the film was going to end because it was just like, you got a score playing in the background, like a long still shot on the character's face. You're like, okay, cool, here we go.
Yeah.
And then it plays on. I was like, damn it. But no, yeah, I think the performances, I really enjoy the performances just like you. Cailee was fantastic in it. I haven't seen her in anything else.
Yeah.
I know she is quite young, so I assume this is one of her earlier films and roles, but I think she was great in it. Not quite that best actress sort of contention. I was sort of waiting for her big moment.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film, and it didn't really happen. And when I thought it was going to happen, it was just nothing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just like, oh, okay, and that plays a part of the arc not being earned, because it started to shift its attention away from Priscilla to Elvis and try to mix them both all at the same time. But I did like the concept of how it was set through her eyes, her side of the story, so to speak.
Yeah.
I thought that's a really interesting way to go about things, considering we just got Elvis last year, which was just purely a biopic about him. So it's really nice to see like things getting spun around, I guess.
Yeah.
Jacob Elordi, I thought he was great as well. His voice was a bit iffy. I think that's just because Austin Butler just did such a fantastic job.
Yeah.
In the voice and sounding and feeling like Elvis that I guess Elordi couldn't do, but I guess Jacob didn't really play that flamboyant side of Elvis.
Yeah.
It was just more the behind the scenes sort of Elvis, which I really liked as well.
I agree with that.
It was just the real Elvis, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so I really liked his the way he took that character and made it so different compared to what we saw last year.
Yeah.
It was really, really great.
For sure.
What else is there? Makeup and hairstyling, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It was a bit hard to tell with the time periods. There was, I think, probably 2 or 3 times, if that, where they did actually put a timestamp on something, and it wasn't really a timestamp, it was just through newspapers or
or a
posters,
calendar.
So it was really, really hard to track time, but you could see that time was passing through the hairstyling and the makeup of Priscilla, and the different kinds of hairstyles she has as well, whether it's up, down, halfway, mid, whatever, spun around sideways. Yeah. It's really, really creative and good, and it definitely fit that time period of the 60s to 70s era as well.
For sure.
Cinematography, I'm with you on that as well, especially in the comment you made about how Elvis is never the center of the frame. It also felt like, or something I noticed, is that it always felt like the camera wasn't always looking up, but it felt like as it was looking up because the focus was so much on Priscilla. And because Jacob Elordi is a ginormous man, like you're always just looking up whenever he's seen. So I think that, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but if it was, great. If it wasn't, cinematography, you did a great job, but it always made it look like as if like you could see like the difference and stuff like that, and like you're always just like looking up at Elvis whenever he speaks. But yeah, those are my thoughts too.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said in my opinion before, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I definitely think the movie needed to be longer because you go to that first act, and most of it is young Priscilla prior to moving over to or with Elvis, and that's when we're kind of invested in this because it's slowly paced, and you're seeing the build up of that relationship kind of happening naturally, creepily, and just progressing, and we can allows us to understand the characters as they go deeper into that relationship. But then once that first act's over, it's just kind of highlights from their life all the way into the end. It's
pretty much,
they're not growing in those moments. It's just kind of scenes just to show and the Elvis and Presley dynamic. I don't think it does anything more than that.
Especially the last like 10, 15 minutes. It's just like blitz, blitz, blitz.
It's really rushed, and
it was like really pretty much like Priscilla being a stay-at-home mum, and then in the span of like 5 minutes, she finds her ambition, and then we're made to believe that she is ambitious and wants to do her own thing.
Yeah,
when considering like for an hour and 40 minutes, she was always like simping for Elvis and not wanting to leave and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, completely. We just don't get enough of or enough time to understand how the marriage eroded by the time that it did, and how it kind of started to break down, and how their personal lives interfered with the relationship, all that stuff. And I just wish we got a little bit more than that, because we did get Elvis last year, but it was never about this relationship or anything. And this relationship, this marriage, is one of the most famous and most covered relationships ever. Just because of the status of Elvis, the controversy of 24 Elvis meeting a 14-year-old Priscilla. So, yeah, I think there was a lot more to tell here. I just don't think they did. Yeah, but
I don't think so. Maybe someone else will come along and redo the story, make it 2.5 hours long. And
I'm not sure if Sofia Coppola wrote this, but her direction is excellent.
Yeah.
If she just can't do anything with the script, if it's her writing, then I critique her part on that. But her direction itself, in terms of bringing the visual aesthetic and the best performances out of the actors, I think she does a really good job. Yeah.
Scores? Anything else to add?
Nothing else to add. I'm excited for the third movie. Probably get the forgot the kid's name, but we're gonna get their point of view in the third movie for a trilogy.
Mini Elvis.
We'll get to see that. That should be interesting. But no, my score, I'm gonna go a 6.8. I want to give a 7.5, and it feels like it should be a 7.5 out of 10 movie for me, but it just lost me kind of after the first act, and I was just trying to get back into it. I never found a point in time where I could be invested again. Yeah. What about you?
6.5 for me.
6.5 for you?
I think same thoughts. It was just that the motivation of Priscilla eventually leaving was just way too rushed.
Yeah.
It was somewhat teased throughout the film, but the big moment really came in like a 5-minute span where it didn't really feel like a moment.
I still don't really understand her decision there.
Yeah.
But you can see that there is justifications. I don't understand them completely.
I think it's because it happened after that scene.
Yeah.
So that's probably where they try to get you hooked.
That scene should have been longer and a little bit more
definitely. It was like
intense.
10 seconds long. I was like, the hell? It was like wasted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was uncomfortable for that 10 seconds. So
yeah. But like you didn't really see any ramifications or fallout of it except for like the scene after, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, next time, I guess.
Next time, yeah. We've got plenty of hours to cover.
All right. That will do us on this review. We have, what's the film? I forgot what it's called.
Is it Anyone But You?
Anyone But You.
Yeah.
Yep. Tomorrow, and I believe it will be our final screening for 2023 and possibly our final screening in person as well.
Yeah, that's crazy to know. I mean, yeah, it might be my final New Zealand screening. Well, at least while I'm here, I'm sure if I visit, Nan will allow me to come to a screening.
Oh, think about it.
Okay, thanks, man. Just know that, if you come to Brisbane, you're allowed to come to a screening with me.
Yeah. That's why I said I'll think about it.
Okay. Thanks. I won't pressure you. But yeah, no, could be my last one. So I'm just going to go there tomorrow. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy it. And I wish it was any movie but that one. I tried to spin that into a pun, but I lost it there.
All right. Cool. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. If you want to hear more of these reviews, head over to Spotify, wherever you pod from, and you can give us a listen on there. And you can also listen to our podcast, Let's Be Real. If you have seen or going to see or want to see Priscilla and you want to know anything about this movie or you want to discuss this movie, head over to Instagram or X and give us a DM and we can have a civilized discussion about it. Civilized discussion, And be sure to head over to moviegames.com. We do a whole lot of stuff over there, box office analysis, a lot of Oscar analysis right now. It's that season. So if you want to keep an eye on the latest awards and who's tracking for what, we have a precursor little article up that gets updated quite often. So definitely go check that out if you are wanting to place bets, as James always says in the podcast. And we also do physical media content and a whole lot more. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow for the final screening of 2023.
No, we're going to be going to a couple more, just not...
I said screening.
It's not a studio screening. Yes, sorry. We got a few more reviews in store for 2023. We got Poor Things, Aquaman,
Aquaman.
and The Lost Kingdom. And with Anyone But You, hopefully we can get some other Oscar-related films as well. I really want to see those before the year's end. But yeah, we'll have those for you.
Catch you later.
Peace.